All right. So medical data. Liam looks pretty good for it. He's been in since the weekend. He's been able to go live, and so he's looked real good. I think he's feeling great, and he's been able to get multiple days in a live practice. So we'll see how he's feeling tomorrow, but he looks really good and well recovered. Jay Ross with an ankle yesterday, day to day. So we'll see with him. If not tomorrow, the weekend, you would hope, but we'll see. He's feeling much better today than yesterday. Everyone else is available.
What are you kind of looking for out of your team tomorrow? Besides winning, obviously. But.
Yeah, I mean, win the game, play with a relentlessness in terms of how hard we play and how hard we defend and how hard that we rebound the ball and how hard we pursue hustle plays and how no one makes it about themselves, and that we just, we're not the team that we're going to be. We're not the team that people remember watching the last couple of games or March and April. We're not that same team, just like last year's team. This team is going to get so much better as the year goes on, but we, in the interim, you win this time of year by being tough and together, defending, rebounding, until your team is functioning at an optimal level.
Did you stay up late to watch Gonzaga Baylor last night?
Yeah, I caught that one. I caught the highlights this morning.
Because that's a situation where Baylor's probably not as bad as they may have looked, right? Early in the season, new guys, that kind of stuff. So
yeah,
it's to be expected to a degree.
Yeah, I think so. I think especially when you college basketball today, whether you're other schools that just have so many different transfers, or you're our situation where you just have just a new cast of characters. Some are internal players being asked to play much greater roles, but I think early in the year you got to win. You got to win in a grimy way, a gritty way. That's how you got to do it until you start playing real well.
How are emotions different? You were a player eve of the first game of the year as opposed to a coach. How is it different for you emotionally?
I think most of our players, they probably don't have much nerves going. I think coaches are way more nervous, especially the first game of the year or the first couple games of the year, because you don't know your team. You think you know your team. You play exhibitions, you play close scrimmages, but you really don't know. So I think it's probably the worst or the toughest time of year for most of us coaches, because you don't know how your team is going to function, because they're all different.
Rebounding and post defense was something kind of lacked in the exhibition game. Have you seen them come around in practice?
Yeah, I mean defensive rebounding.
Yeah.
Defensive rebounding. I think our offensive rebounding will always be, an advantage for us, a strength. So. Yeah, I mean, we got big wings, and we don't have the 7. We don't have Klinkon, and obviously Adama's gone too. But we do think that tandem is talented enough, and it's going to be, in the end, it's going to be good enough that won't be the reason why this team doesn't achieve championships. I think those guys, Sampson, Harris, Youssef. We have multiple players there. We need these wings. I mean, I think the strength of the team is obviously the amount of wings that we have. I think when everyone's healthy, from Alex to Liam, to Jay Ross, to Jalen Stewart, to Solo Ball, who I guess I could kind of count him as a wing guard, but Isaiah. We got a lot of wings, so the wings have got to help us on the glass significantly.
Do you think that you go ahead? Go ahead.
I'm guessing most of you guys are now old enough to vote in a presidential election for the first time, maybe the second time for some of them. Have you talked to your players just about exercising that right in recent weeks?
Yeah, I think we've talked about it. We've talked about I mean, first off, I can't pretend in a public setting to form a public opinion relative to that. I think what we stress to our players is look deep at both sides, study the policies, do your own research, do your own homework. Don't be influenced. Either just by social media. I think there's a lot for them to think about and a lot that's thrown in their face. So yeah, I mean, I think what we've done a couple times is like, hey, here are 8 out of 10 policies, major policies, and that goes into an election. Form an opinion on those things before you decide where you want to vote.
Dan, similar, you mentioned homework. Just curious what books you got to read. What books you had them reading this summer and this year.
Oh man, oh shit.
Reading one right now?
They're not reading one right now. I moved to more, this time of year I moved to more like military, history, endurance, like just books where the human spirit is challenged, because this 5 to 6 month period is going to have to be, it's going to take everything you have emotionally, physically, mentally, all the way through. So I like to read kind of inspiring stories of heroic people this time of year. We read Man's Search for Meaning with Viktor Frankl this summer, and then we read Carol Dweck's mindset book. So, those are the ones that we read with the team. And I think, the mindset book prepares these guys, again, for like just the challenges mentally, physically, emotionally of what the season's going to be like for them. And then, but also the mindset book, the growth mindset. You're going to keep getting better, keep improving. Failures don't define you; they help you succeed. Going down the books. Sorry.
Are those recommended to you, or do you read them?
They're both books I've read in the past, so I always like to try to recommend a book that I've read with the group. The year before we read Eric Thomas's book, UOU, and then we had Eric come in and talk to the team. So that was a pretty cool thing. I would like to try to do again, like read a book and then bring the author in. We did that the year before. That was pretty cool.
Where do you get your energy from?
The family I grew up in, the family that I want to make proud of me now, where I'm from, how my father pushed me, just growing up in that Hurley basketball family. I think it's created a feeling of, next thing, what you accomplished, before doesn't really matter, and just, you owe it to everyone around you to give everything you have to pursue the next success, whether that's the fans, the donors, the players, the staff.
How do you look at you guys unveil the banner tomorrow night? It's a great thing, but at the same time, I'm sure you kind of ready to move on. And I guess a smaller one in Hartford, but is this kind of it? You kind of.
I mean, listen, it's like what we've done it's not lost on us like what we've done. We do turn the page quickly, and we're always moving forward. But we take moments to it may be 90 seconds to enjoy this one, but you take these little moments and enjoy it, and you can't take for granted what we've been able to do the last 2 years. It's not like we ignore it. We just don't stay there a very long time. When we're retired, we'll
Do you also
take
tell
pictures.
the new guys that now it's your turn to go get one kind of thing? Do you?
Yeah, I think not this time of year. I think what we explain to our players is that the teams that we're playing against is not who they're seeing on film, that we get everyone's best shot, 10x, because of the target on our back, especially this year. So we need to be fully prepared. We need to understand that we're going to be playing the best version of every team that we play the entire year, and that we need to be able to meet that challenge. And then, if this, once this team earns the right for us to start talking about seeding and all these different things, then, in the NCAA tournament, once you earn that, but you got to earn that, and we haven't even won a game yet.
Dan, with the roster of kids from all over the country, as November got closer, was anyone from the program able to help them, like organize a mail-in type situation? They have a lot on their plate.
Yeah. I think with with Mo and the support staff and the academic people, they're able to, they're able to help with that. To be honest with you, I'm not too involved in that. I'm just so focused on recruiting and getting this team ready to play, games.
Without asking which way you lean, did you find time to vote today yourself?
I'm an independent voter. I mean, I got some conservative views. I've got some liberal views. I think on a election basis. you know, I make choices based on what policies I think, you know, would be best, I think, for the current state of where we are. But I don't think that for me, I don't know enough about it in an educated way for me to get up here and try to influence people to vote in a certain direction. I just don't feel like I'm like educated enough on everything that way, nor do I have enough time to try to coach a national championship team and be an expert on who the country should vote for. And this is why I'm going to just stick to the coaching.
Do you think there's like?
Sorry.
So, Coach, you're generally, in terms of intensity, you're generally at a 10 all
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
And how do you keep the players loose? Because sometimes that can be too much for some players. How do you
Yeah.
keep them loose throughout this long journey, which you hope ends at another championship?
Yeah. I mean, I'm tough on them early, especially training camp type of practices. I'm tough on the boys, and as we get closer to the first game, I'm very aware that everyone's nerves are and anxieties, and you get that nervous energy. So, you know, you try to build them up a little bit before the opener, and then, you know, I just think you're dealing with human beings, and I think every player just needs a different type of messaging and a different message, different type of messaging in terms of the way you deliver it. And I spend so much time studying these guys and trying to figure out what makes them tick, that I could do it in like a la carte manner throughout the year.
Dan, the night before a game, I wonder with your superstitions, is there anything that the team does or you do specifically?
Do I smell like sage? I must smell bad, right? Yeah, I just do some self-care. You know, like I'm in the tank. You know, I get into the float tank. I get you know, massage work done. I just make sure I don't eat too late. I don't eat a lot of sugar. I really try to get to bed like super early. And then, yeah, I mean, somebody's gonna send me what I wore the last time we played Sacred Heart and won. And then someone's gonna send me what we wore at the opener last year, because now I've got like battling superstitions of what to wear. So so yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on in my brain, and I don't think all of it is
Coach,
productive.
so Tim Tolkien, who's a former sports information director here, worked down in Norwich and covered the team for a while, died yesterday morning, and he's been around the program since you came here. Did you know him really, Al?
I did not. You know, not well. That's sad, and you know, bleed blue, and yeah.
You had talked about leadership on this team and really wanting Alex and Sam and DR to step up. Have they done a little bit of that pulling for you so you don't have to do everything?
I don't think so. I think you're never really happy with how verbal and how well you know, these players are communicating, especially in this time period here, right? With the, you know, most of them communicate by liking someone else's post or sending a direct message. So, you know, it's tough. You've got to get them to, you know, to get outside of themselves, get absorbed in the team. And, you know, those three guys in particular lead the way. I don't think you're ever really satisfied with the leadership that you're getting. You know, it's like a coach's thing that they always get to complain about. But I do think that Alex has gotten better that way, and that's a positive thing. This is Alex's team, you know, with Hassan and with Samson. You know, so they got to lead the way. They're back-to-back champs, those three guys.
It's good to kind of get a in-state opponent at least, you know, once a year. And what do you think about Sacred Heart and what Anthony's done?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really care about that. I mean, obviously our interests are for what we're trying to do with our season, to produce championship seasons for our fan base. So that's not really, you know, something I think that affects how we do scheduling. You know, we're you know, I think we were a little delayed with getting some non-conference things tied up, and you know, this is who we ended up playing. I think Anthony does a great job. It's like, you know, it's like Tom, you know, like he's had a lot of success. He's won a lot of games. He's coached a lot of games. He's very well respected. His teams play really, really hard, and like he's like, you 12 years plus as a head coach or something. It's like, it's hard to get one of these jobs. It's hard to keep one of them for 12 years, never mind get one. So, he's had a great career, and it's an exciting game for both of us.
See, it's going to take a little while for their whole rotation to shake out because you have so many different guys. that
Yeah,
go
yeah. I mean, we got some things going on. I mean, we're not. There may be a way we're playing it a month from now that we're not going to be playing it tomorrow night. I think there's going to be an evolution. I think a lot of it's going to be based on the sophomore class and the way they develop too.
Dan, I know you've talked about the dynasty mantra you're using. It speaks for itself, but how did you come to that?
Yeah, I think that was something in the summer just to get the group, obvious's attention, and to not take June, July, and August practices for granted. But then once we get the page turns to September into October, I think we just get into a daily grind where we practice and train like we've never won a thing, and we kind of like take this chip on our shoulder, UConn versus the world mentality, and we start driving that home once. But we need something in the summer that's catchy, and we'll get these guys to practice hard on the 4th of July when they'd rather be at a barbecue or a pool party or whatever the hell people do, beach.
Do you like the sound of that better than Stairway to Seven or anything like that?
Yeah, I think it's rare you get a chance, to ever be in a position to be a part of a dynasty in sports where you win enough championships in a short amount of time that, that's an opportunity that, it's not lost on anybody here. Now, listen, it's not something any of us are consciously thinking about right now, but it's certainly, it's just some more external motivation and understand how big the target is on you.
Dan, I guess because I've morphed into a political writer today.
Oh my God.
No.
You've never done this to me before, and I sound like a dope.
But the White House trips, if you look back, I think you, Gino, Kevin, and Jim has been welcomed by every president. I don't think there was one during the Trump's 4 years. But going back to Clinton, I mean, it's kind of remarkable to think back on all the White House visits and all the different presidents and coaches that shook hands with down there.
Yeah, and the chance to go is an honor, whatever your political views are, and it's like, the chance to go there and to meet President Biden and just how kind of real he was and how cool he was. And you have so much respect, for the history of our country and everything. It's just incredible. I just don't.
Are you done?
I'm done.
Does this, starting at home, does that add, a sense of comfort, no hotels, no travel? Do you think that adds, a sense of familiarity for the new guys and, the game day nerves?
Yeah, I'd rather be here. I'm happy where the game is for an opener. I think it's the most comfortable for us because we're in there the whole summer. We practice in there a lot. We're very comfortable in the surroundings. Hopefully there are some exciting over the course of the next couple of years. Hopefully there's some super exciting non-conference tip-off that we could get, with Kentucky or Duke when we start a series with people like that. Because we're reaching out for those programs, and we'd love to start the year by playing a really, really big opening night game too. And the best programs should play in those.
Have you talked to Donovan or Steph or any of the NBA guys recently?
Yeah, either on phone or text message. Just keeping up with all the boys, and talked to Andre Jackson the other day, who's kind of battled his way back in the rotation and has played well for the Bucks. And Hawk's been really good with the back, and it's just awesome to be able to turn on NBA games and see the boys in there.
We're getting to go, guys. So last one. Any thoughts on new look Gamble?
Oh man, it looks great. No, seriously, it looks great. We saw that last couple weeks. It's been worth the. The experience in there is just different. It's so much better. It's pretty great.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right, guys.